Again, welcome back to Statistics course. This is DSRT 734 class. In these lectures, I'm going to use the Microsoft Excel to again find the correlation coefficient and also the regression line and also the regression equation. Again, we studied this in our previous lectures. In theory, what is a correlation coefficient and how to use the formula to find it. And also we studied the regression line. Here we are doing the linear regression line, what it means and what is the purpose of it. To summarize everything up, normally we find the correlation between two variables if we have a linear relationship. The correlation between two variables, basically we want to know if there is a relationship between those two variables. One variable will be the independent variable, the other will be the dependent variable. In this case, I have X values. X values is my independent variable, Y is my dependent, which means the X value determine the Y values. So example will be smoking determine lung cancer. So smoking is the independent variable, lung cancer again is the dependent variable. Normally the correlation coefficient values between -1 to +1. If it's close to -1 or it's -1, we call it a decreasing relationship, which means when X value increases, Y value decrease. Or when X value decrease, Y value increase. So that's a decreasing relationship. When the correlation value is -1 or close to -1. Then we have +1 or close to +1 when we call this increasing relationship. So when the correlation coefficient value is between somewhere +1 or close to +1, let's say 0.987, then we have increasing relationship. Increasing relationship means when S increase, Y also increase. When S decrease, Y decrease, so increasing relationship. So here we are going to, and also in the theory, we discuss how to find the correlation coefficient using the formula. Here we are using Excel. So the first thing I will do is to start the Excel program, which is already started, and also enter the independent and dependent variables values in the cells. In Excel, the boxes are called the cells. So again, as we said in theory, the values have to be exact pair. So if I have 20 independent variable values, I should have the same 20 dependent variables values. Otherwise, we cannot find the correlation coefficient. So the first thing I will do, after we enter the value finish, the first thing I will do is to get a scatter plot. I don't have to do the scatter plot, I'm just doing it now. Because finding the correlation, again, I don't need a scatter plot. But let's find a scatter plot for now. And I'll click on the insert and I'll go to the chart and I'll look for the scatter plot chart. So this is my scatter plot. I can see that there's an increasing relationship, but the answer will not be 1 because all the values are not in a straight line. Some are out. So it will be somewhere around 0.8 to maybe 0.9. So now let's find the correlation coefficient. So I will go to the insert function, the fx. Again, fx means insert function. I click on it and I will look for the correlation function. In Excel, the correlation coefficient function is called correl or correlate, but again, it's correlation. And they make it short, correl, correlation. Now, if you don't know the function name, just select any function, then you see the description of the function at the down. So when I select average, I see that they are telling me that this function will return the average arithmetic mean of its argument. Argument will be the values. So the average of any value we have. For example, here they say num1, num2, that's the numbers. And when I click on the correlation, I can see it tells me that it will return the correlation coefficient between two data sets. Again, as we the correlation, we are finding the relationship between two variables. So this is a 2 data set, S and Y. So I select the correlation, I click OK. And we can see the correlation function. Now, if you know the function name, you don't need to click on FX. You can just write the function name in the cell. Now, one thing is that anytime you are using Excel, and you want to enter a formula, you always start with the equal sign. So I'll start the equal, then I'll write the correlation. Then I can type the argument. But the quickest to type it, I'll click inside the argument here. And then I'll say, okay, from A2 to A13. So it will be A2 column A13, comma, B2, comma space B2 to B13. But I don't want to type it, so I'm just going to set. First, I'll click on the array 1, which is my S values, and I'll select all the S values. I don't want to type it. Then I'll click on the second set, array 2. Then I can select the values also. As I said earlier, again, enter A2 column A up to A13, then comma B2 column B13. It's the same as typing it. Then I'll click OK here. So this means our correlation value is somewhere around point, as we said earlier. All the points are not on the straight line. So it's somewhere 0.8, 0.844 or 0.843935. Because we have 3 points here which make the difference. Then the next is to find, now we find the correlation coefficient. We already have the scatter plot. So any of the points, I'm going to right click any of the points. Then I'll click add trend line, add trend line. Then I'll see on my right side, we have different type. Again, here we are doing linear, so we can see linear is selected. We can change it to exponential, and this is what we get. Or logarithm, and this is what we do. Logarithm is like a curve, and then polynomial will be like a parabola, and this is what we get. But again, here we are doing linear, so I'll select a straight line. Then next, I have my best fit line or the regression line. I already find my correlation coefficient. So next is to display my equation. So here we have display equation on chart. I'll select that. And I should see the equation here. Let's make it bigger. So this will be my regression equation or my regression model. So it will be y equal to 7.645x minus 17.548. So the slope is 7.6452. Always slope goes with the independent variable, multiplied by independent variable. Then the y-intercept by itself, 17.548. So these are the steps to, again, to use Excel to find the correlation coefficient, also to find the regression line, and also regression model or the regression equation. Again, after you get the scatter plot, right click any of the point. Then you select the trend line, and that will give you the best fit line. Then after that, you go to the right side and display equation, and that will display the regression equation for you. So again, wish everybody the best, and thank you for your time.